we are back with more Snappy Chats. I'm so excited to be here. It's 2026 and it is Chinese New Year in Australia, at least at this point, and we're into the fire horse. Super excited for it. And we have my wonderful friend and guest here, Alice, here today. And I'm super excited to have Alice because she's got something new cooking in her business, in a service business that's very, very interesting and exciting. So all happy to be here and connecting with everyone. Let's see if anyone shows up. I'm here checking the comments, but let's just get started. So good to see you again, Alice. I know I saw you last week, but it's great to see you again online.
Oh, thank you so much. I think the last time I was on, it was probably about 12 months ago, and a lot can change in a day, let alone 12 months. So I'm really glad and very grateful you've invited me again to kick off the year with Snappy Chat with you.
Oh, I love it. And happy new Chinese New Year.
Yes, 100%. So I'm a dragon, so I'm a bit fiery. And this year apparently is my year as well. So I guess very quickly, I'll introduce myself. So I was a trained corporate accountant for over 24 years. I lived a great career in corporate, doing various things, supporting sales, marketing from a finance business partnering perspective, and then decided that my career needs a bit of a change. I've always didn't enjoy my role in finance and counting numbers. I was never good at it, to be honest. I don't know how I got through, passed the exams, got through uni. And so at 40, I decided I'm going to do something completely different and basically went on this journey of uncovering what are my strengths and what do people come to me for. So I decided to become a career coach. And what that looked like was side hustling for about 4.5 years in my corporate job. And then sort of 4 years ago, I decided that's it. It's now or never. I'm not getting any younger. I'm going to leap fully into my career coaching business. And therefore, for the last 4 years, I've been helping people with CV writing, preparing interviews, getting promotions. But really at the core of it is to build that career confidence, because I do believe everyone deserves an inspiring career. And what that looks like is very individualized. And then more recently, I got to a point where I was literally going to walk away from coaching. Again, it's time in the business, it's energy, and you're trying to do multiple things as a solopreneur, trying to execute and trying to bring the money in, trying to build the funnel. And although I didn't want a team because I'd done that part of my life where I manage people, but the use of AI has really changed what I am doing, and therefore I didn't need to hire a team. And so I had an idea, all right, if I'm going to walk away, why don't I give it one last blast? And that is to use AI to replicate me. So in a nutshell, I've built an AI-driven enabled platform called Suitorly that will do the CV writing using AI, doing mock interviews using AI. So it sounds like me. We're still training the voice. And then on the other side, I am really going to make the platform available to hiring managers to come on and find their match. And that's why it's called Suitorly. It's got a career assessment. But more importantly, it's given me, from a personal perspective, a lot of time back, because I've trained the language model to hold all my IP of 8 years. So I gave it all my systems, my templates, the way I coach, and it's now literally sound like me. It's actually, in fact, better than me, because some days, Christine, I go on coaching and I'm distracted. I don't have the energy, and my clients don't get the best out of me depending on the day. I'm human. So now, in fact, this AI platform is going to give that consistent service to my client every minute of the day. It's not going to be emotional or going through menopause. It will be there delivering 100%.
I love this. And part of me just wants to joke and say, hey, I hope it's you on here for real and not your AI persona. I just want to say hello to Royce. Royce, so good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. And I've got a couple of LinkedIn users. I can't see who you are, but we're very happy to have you here. So I'm glad it's actually you. I think it is you, Alice, not the AI.
It is me. It is me.
But I love that, especially for someone has been hesitant about AI, because I'm so into human connection and it's a service business, right? But you're applying it to a service business, and you're doing it in a way where it's still you. Hopefully the AI won't steal your IP, right, and give it to others. But yeah, still you, and you can then have a life on the side as well, a real life, which is what I think you really want, right? Is that balance between have a fulfilling career and having a real life that you enjoy too.
100%. And can I stress, even though it's very much Alice AI, I'm still the human in the loop, as we, like those buzzwords, because I feel like I still enjoy elements of coaching. So those people who want that high touch service, I'm still there to help you.
Yeah.
But if you're happy with Alice AI, I still will be there to review all the outputs, because I believe that at the moment, with just the way technology is, I still want to be involved. I still want to make sure the system is delivering the service that people have paid for. But at the same time, because now it's done by AI, I can really pull that price down to make it really accessible for people. Not to mention the other part, the new revenue stream, where I'll be having hiring manager come on, finding that match, that more the aligned profile that they're looking for, because ultimately when you're job searching, we are at the moment at the mercy of systems matching on keywords. So my sole purpose of the platform is really to give people a little bit more information about the person we're seeing, not the CV, to actually make those informed decisions right up front, and not to waste anybody's time ghosting people in the whole process, which is quite soul destroying, really.
Yeah. And I think in today's, I want to say something else, but just to finish up what you're saying, I think in this world today with CVs, feels like that you just, they might get 200 and no one gets, you get ghosted. No one responds. It's like, am I not good enough? Am I too old? Can you just at least say thank you for applying? But no, nothing, even from the recruiters, right? Nothing, just silence, crickets.
Yeah, and that's something I want to change on my platform. So I've got usually people might have when they set up a company, based on their values, it might be a no, dickhead policy for me. Sorry for swearing. But for me, it's really no ghosting policy on my platform. And that how I will do that is to ensure you have to give feedback, whether you're a candidate or you're a hiring manager. If you're going to not accept someone or not accept a job, we want that feedback on the platform, because then that generates a lot of insights for everybody else who are going to use the platform to go, why are people getting rejected? What are the skill sets we're looking for? So ultimately down the track, I will have a lot more insights around this whole job search process with people coming in and out as well.
Which could be a whole nother revenue stream, right? Because there's money in information about people and insights. So really, really interesting, because what I'm hearing you, what you're doing is to say, hold on, yes, I can keep doing this myself and I enjoy that, but it's exhausting depending on what day and what's going on. But you actually want to scale so you can give your services to more people at a better, cheaper price. So it's not going to, totally break the bank. But also in terms of really being smart about how you do business as someone who doesn't want to hire in people because you already manage enough people. I'm sure you are happy to hire suppliers, but not employees, which is supporting small business owners in another way, which I love, of course. But for me, it's such a interesting way of actually stepping back, even as a solopreneur or small business owner, and going, hold on, I don't have to play by those rules by staying small. Yeah. I can use AI to figure out how to create something that's scalable and more affordable, and also will add different revenue streams from different ways, which is, the way to be smart about business these days and being adaptable, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I think we're at that era where we're very lucky, because, I'm Gen X. So I've got a bit more of a wisdom and made so many mistakes. I'm not super tech savvy, but I don't need to be, because I have a good partner. I partner up with a company name called Komodo, and they're at the forefront of the tech. All we're doing in terms of partnership is, I've got this idea, you put it translate that into codes. And then they've even thought about, what does product roadmap V2 look like, and where the ultimate revenue stream. So I think as a key lesson, who you partner with, you can get coders anywhere, but I think to find that commercial coder who can put other lens onto your business would definitely help. And it's actually, the costs are coming down, right? And software like this, let's say 12 months ago, would have cost you 100,000 plus. And that's just to get the MVP going. I feel that I've built out even V2 of this whole product for much, much, much less than that. And then that is only going to come down in terms of the computation cost of AI as well. So my point is, we're at a sweet spot where if you've got a business idea, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to actually build it out and go for it. What have you got to lose, right? I was going to walk away from my coaching business until this solution came up. So I'm like, this is my last wind of life in my career. If it doesn't work, well, I've learned a lot. So that's kind of the mindset I'm going with. And I'm sure, Christine, you've been in places where, you know, as a business owner as well, going, I'm going to walk away, but then something else sparked you. I love to hear your experience too.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I am more focused on the human connection part, and I've been resistant to AI, which is why I love it when you come in and go, well, hold on. There are ways you can be really smart about AI and you don't have to know the technology that well. So, and I also think a big lesson for me is co-creation. Like you were just saying with Komodo, is that thing of being open to co-creation. And I see that when I teach human-centered design process as well at the universities, that it's really around getting different people's perspective on it, because we can have great ideas, but suddenly you have a conversation with someone else and they suddenly go, well, hold on, have you thought about X, Y, Z? And you're like, actually, there's something to it. You don't feel as alone anymore either when that happens. You feel like it's not as lonely as it sometimes can feel, right?
100%. And I think that human-centered design is so important. So as I was designing Suitorly, I had my client in mind all the way through. How would they react? How would they behave? Because at the end of the day, again, tools are tools. The person behind that computer using it is your ultimate person who you're servicing. So I can make it all bells and whistles, but if people find it hard to use, the UX is crappy, I'm not going to get repeated customers. So I definitely had sort of, not that I'm a trained behavioral scientist or anything, but after coaching 8 years and dealing with people, kind of know what makes them tick and what will piss them off, so to speak.
Yeah. And that's so important, right? And that's the background I come from, is to understand the human first and then create strategy based on what human needs and wants and how they behave and how they think and what they believe. And how do we change their behavior as well, like you are now as well. Just want to say hello to Osman. Thank you for being here. So for me, it's really around how can I scale my business in a way that I enjoy. So it also comes back to your values and what you're passionate about and what makes you tick, right? And I enjoy, like we were talking before we got on, I'm excited to be back on Snappy Chat because lo and behold, I find this easy and enjoyable because it's my career, right? I've been interviewing people in focus groups and workshops for 27 years. It's something, it's a skill, but it's something I've learned and it's something I enjoy. It comes with who I am. So it's easy for me, right? So we got to also figure out what do I really love? What's easy for me with my skills? And what does that then look like in business? And for me at the moment, I'm not saying I have actually started using AI. So people are laughing at me a little bit because I have started using it a bit in my business and it is quite smart in some ways, right? At least to get insights, to get new ideas, to even use it as a co-creator to some extent, because I did the other day with ChatGPT, I'm writing a new class. And I said, well, what would you teach it? And it came up with these great ideas. It even came up with some exercise. I'm like, quite good. I can massage those to make them mine, right? So you can always put your own spin on things. And I think that's really important when technology is going. You can put your own spin on it too, so it becomes you. But for me, I like groups. I get most excited when I'm in front of groups. I like teaching 50 students. I like being in a workshop with lots of people and getting them to co-create and empower people to co-create. So for me, I start with, okay, if I want to help empower people with strategy, how can I do that? And more than just one person, as a team, how can I help them actually co-create together, empower them to create something better in whatever business I'm working with, right?
Love it. Love it. And it doesn't take away that intellect you still have. I think, again, the tools aren't always going to be correct. We still need someone to review it, governance, ethics, all of those great things, guardrails. So it's not really going to replace us, I still believe, at this point, but it will make our task faster, quicker and better in terms of a thinking partner. Because again, in solopreneurship, it gets lonely. I don't have a colleague who I can go, hey, can I bounce this off you? So at the moment, my friends are Claude, Croc, ChatGPT, Gemini,
Business.
and Perplexity. So,
Yeah.
it gives me, and I'm using different AI tools because that each one has different specialty. And so I'm using one to check off the other, using one to bounce the other one off. And so, that gets me creative as well because I'm learning as I'm checking off these AI tools as well. Oh, I didn't think of that, or I didn't think of that. So my point is here, if you have been resistant in using AI, my point is just go for it. What is there to lose if not you're upgrading yourself in terms of your own thinking as well? So definitely go for it, Christine. Break it.
Exactly. And so with that in mind, as we talked about the other day, I also, for example, have small classes that I've been giving out for free, and they're very useful. And a lot of people have had a lot of benefits from them. So I'm like, well, where can I sell them at a cheap price, right? And then I had one platform, technology platform, and sometimes we have to experiment with different platforms, right? And it was sort of working, but not quite.
Yeah.
Because I tried it out for the last year with another group, and I learned a lot from it. And then I saw you the other day, and you're like, well, why don't you try this platform instead? And you showed it to me, and I'm like, holy moly, this is actually something that I might move to. So I'm going to put that out. Royce is saying, how is it dealing with AI resume screeners? Isn't it almost impossible to get a human to see it?
It depends on the hiring manager these days. But if you're using a ChatGPT to write your resume,
sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now, Christine? Can you hear me? No,
yeah, it might be me. I can hear you. No. Yeah, no.
Okay.
It might be me.
So at the moment, a lot of people are using ChatGPT to write resumes or CVs. So now it's becoming a sea of sameness again. So it used to be the template looks the same. Everybody lists the task. Now everyone sounds amazing. And so once they get to the interview, then that's where it all falls apart. So if you're using ChatGPT, my suggestion is maybe chuck it back into a Grok or Gemini and get a different, maybe writing style to go over it. And just ask the AI tool to also go check and ensure this is ATS friendly, just so that it does get through the bots. I believe, and talking to some recruiters in the industry, that there is still a human person reviewing these CVs sometimes if they don't go through ATS or a bot. And ATS stands for Applicant Tracking System, where they do find the keywords. My suggestion is always don't shove keywords for the sake of it. It still has to be in context to sell you. What's your value proposition? Why should they hire you? What are your skill sets, and what are the quantifiable outcomes that you drive utilizing those skills? So that kind of doesn't have to be ATS friendly, because that is who you are on a couple of pages. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that even recruiters and companies would prefer to find the right people. And if everyone looks amazing because everyone has used AI on the resume to pump themselves up a bit, then they're at a loss again, because how do they then pick, the machines you just talked about ain't necessarily going to pick the best ones, right? And the recruiter 100%. Wants to make money by putting the right person forward, and the company doesn't want to waste money by getting the wrong person in.
Exactly. And that's where, even though Suitorly is using Alice AI to write it, it's using my system that I've trained it, and I'm still reviewing those CVs to make sure that the quality is there and you're not going to look exactly the same as the other person using ChatGPT. So that's where I strongly believe that was something I needed to do on the platform.
So it sounds to me, actually, what you're creating with AI is someone to collaborate with. It just happens to be Alice AI yourself, but you actually got yourself a collaboration partner, correct?
100%. So, like we said, I'm at that stage where if I put more hours in, doesn't mean I'm going to generate more business revenue. I was at a point where I had to be smarter to scale. And if I was to do that, the only path for me personally was to leverage AI. But at the same time now, we were talking before, Christine, and you might have the same challenges juggling execution, still servicing my clients on a manual basis while I'm building this baby. and trying to generate leads and do all the other things that bring in cash flow, because cash is king. So that's still a challenge that I'm really going through. And there are some days where I really, like yesterday, I go, I just don't want to do anything. I feel like I'm burning out again. So it's a matter of, balancing that as a business owner, execution versus building and being in the business or working on the business.
And it's so true. And I went through that last year, and I got so exhausted that as we talked about the other day, you guys don't know this, but I got really exhausted last year because I was trying to do everything myself and trying every different opportunity. I had all these ideas and all these opportunities, put them all in the market, and lo and behold, I got a little exhausted, right? And tired. And that's not how we want to be, because I also think, at least at our age, no offense to anyone or you, it's not just as much as we want to be successful. It's also about success outside work. It's about actually having that balance and being able to enjoy life and do things, and trying to fit that in as well. And that's really what it's all about for me. And for me, it's around going, okay, what am I most excited about? What do I enjoy the most? What makes me spark? What makes me shine? What makes me enjoy it? That's where I need to focus. Hello, Lisa. Great to see you. And then go, okay, what does that then look like for my business? And where do I focus in? Rather than trying to do everything, where do I need to focus this year? And if anything else comes up, great. But I can't spend time focusing on that per se. If it comes in, great. But here's what I'm passionate about. So that comes back to, what does your ideal life look like? What does it look like for you, Alice?
It's definitely when I left corporate, my goal was to be a digital nomad, and I am living that. So I do every year go away for a month and actually work somewhere else. So that is still a dream. And as the kids are going to be out of our lives soonish, having empty nest. Not that they can move out because they can't afford it in Sydney, but that gives my husband and I sort of the ability to just travel. And that's the other reason why I had to do Suitorly, because if I'm tied into the business, if I am the product 24/7, there's no way I can just kind of step away. And please don't take this the wrong way. I strongly do believe I've just traded another job for money, really, right? I just sold my hours for money. So a proper business should have a system and processes and should be able to run without me. I didn't have that. I just literally traded another one for Sole Trader. So I think this gives me the ability personally for lifestyle purposes, where I can take it anywhere and hopefully sip a couple of pina coladas on the beach. That is still a dream, but I'll probably get bored and then we'll find other things to do. I'm sure.
I love that, and I'm very inspired by that. So I will definitely have a good think about how I can implement more AI that I was against somewhat into still making my business the way I wanted and making me shine whilst not burning out, which is the very fine balance, right? It's like have fun, enjoy, excitement versus don't burn out on it.
100%. What about you, Christine? What does that sort of life look like for you? New goals, new dreams.
Well, for me, I really like having time for animals. So that includes horses and dogs. And that's where I find real joy in life. Obviously, also, I love traveling. Even though I live in Sydney, I'm from Europe and my husband is American. So we'd like to travel more as well. And I still love working too. Don't get me wrong. I actually love what I do. So I just want to work with people I really enjoy that want to pay enough money for it. Yeah, the ones who are willing to pay as well. And really where I can add value. So for me, it's not just by taking on any client. It's about working with the right clients that are aligned with my values, because it really does make for a dream team and it makes for a lot more fun. And thankfully, I just had a client recently. We just finished last week, and they were a sibling pair. And I was referred to them, but they looked at different people. And at the end, we were discussing, as we got to know each other, you won't believe how much we had in common that we'd never ever talked about when they first talked to me about signing up with me. But they chose to go with me because of my experience. But then what it turned out was we have so much in common that it was scary, And sometimes when we really tap into it and you're working with people in a service business, you have to
100%.
really open up to working with the people and trusting that the right people will come through. And then it becomes not so much work. It just becomes fun, right?
That is so true. And I think also that's probably where I got to in my business after 8 years of sometimes being a marriage counselor and a life coach at the same time, where people, because work is life, life is work. And so a lot of time I was absorbing that sort of negative energy from people, which is part of the job, right? No complaints there. But I'm someone who actually just keeps it because I really genuinely want to help them transform. So I can only do maybe max now 3 hours of mock interviews a day or 3 hours of consultation because I can't absorb that energy anymore. And so that was another I guess reason for me to really push myself to go, I've just got to not be so attached to people who I really love, but at the same time give me some sort of boundary as well. I don't know about you, but yeah.
I'm the same. Like boundaries, I'm empathetic, so boundaries is a big thing for me to learn, right? Because I really want to help people and go all the way. But there comes a point where you can only help people so much, depending on their mindset, where they're at in life, what that's going on, etc. And so it's really important to have boundaries, which I'm learning. But I do love the idea of thinking about how can you scale a business, how can you put systems in place that allows you to scale and make life easier. I haven't worked it out 100% yet, but you're definitely inspiring me, Alice. So I will keep working on it.
No, you will definitely work it out. And you're getting into AI, you're learning, and that's, I think, really exciting as well. But as I was also thinking through Suitorly, I should put different modes of Alice AI in there. So sometimes depending on the person I'm coaching, I could be dropping F-bombs. So I'm thinking, maybe I could put an X-rated Alice AI mode, and then someone who's a bit more gentle and a bit more empathetic, and Oprah mode, and maybe, a Simon Sinek where you're asking why. So anyway, while building this thing, I just had a lot of crazy stuff, and I really had fun. And I think that's the other point I want to reiterate. As much as this is the business, you've got to have fun. Otherwise, what's it for? I might as well go back to corporate because that was so much fun and enjoyable. So you've got to have fun doing what you're doing and building this. And also the other point is, for sure, Rome wasn't built in a day. So here I am trying to run as fast as I can, trying to get it up and running, but it does take time as well. So be kind to yourself.
It takes time, and there's a learning process in taking time. So I've been playing around with an offer for the last year, and I've just been testing it. I didn't really push it last year. I will start pushing it this year. But that's really around, we're all lonely in business, especially if we are building it ourselves and bringing business owners together, because guess what? We can actually learn from each other's trial and error, each other's ideas. We can support each other emotionally, because we're going through the same ups and downs, different businesses completely. I have someone who, is a vet. I have someone who's in rocket space, building rockets. I have someone who is in brand designing. I have someone who is, a fantastic artist and a fantastic coach, But we come together, and having those weekly meetings has turned out to be just something we all enjoy. So now I'm going to be the one who builds it, but they are going to stay with me. So they are not just me. I'm not just selling me anymore. I'm also selling them, right? In terms of get help from different people and show up and get that support every week, even if it's just to say, hey, I've been going through this. I'm really struggling with that. Have you tried that? Have you been to this platform? Have you done that? And people give perspectives, right? So
that's fantastic. And I think what you're doing with, just even the membership subscription, that building that community is so valuable, especially those people who are new to entrepreneurship or just getting started, and they're going, where do I go? What do I do? How do I sell? How do I market? And so I think you're really giving people a platform there to join. And also you're leveraging yourself, one to many, and you love that anyway. So why not get paid to do what you love and also be of service to others? And I'm sure they're going to find so much value out of it. So I love that idea as well.
Oh, thank you. And maybe one day AI will come into that as well, right? We never know, hey?
Never know. I'm sure there are people out there already, some crazy AI ideas. But no, I think that's why we bounce things off really well with each other. And I love learning from you as well, because you are such just the energy is amazing. Whenever I talk to you, I feel like, okay, I've got that spark now. I'm motivated.
And that's important, right? So we all have something to help each other with, and so human connection is still very important, but we can be smart about it and use it in a way that actually inspire us, and then use the systems to build a business we can scale without burning out. So I think that's the message today. I appreciate you so much for being here, Alice. I know you're going away to Vietnam for a month on your gap month. You have a very nice husband, don't you? He just loves you, is happy for you to go away for a month on your own to find yourself.
I don't think he has a choice, to be honest, but anyway.
Someone's got to look after the dog, hey?
That's right. Thanks for having me, Christine.
Thank you so much. And anyone on here, feel free to reach out to Alice, connect and learn more. So thank you so much. We'll be back next week, hopefully with someone else. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.